Today I'm going to show you guys the 5 players that the Brooklyn Nets should target in their 2020 offseason. So before we start off with the video, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new. Now we're going to get into player number 1. Number 1, Bradley Beal. So the reason that Bradley Beal would be great for the Brooklyn Nets and a great fit for the Nets would be because he's a third star obviously on the team with Kyrie and KD to fit alongside them, and he's definitely a great fit because he's a shooting guard, and obviously Kyrie and KD need a shooting guard that could definitely shoot the ball and play well defense and definitely make his own shot. And I think Bradley Beal definitely brings that and brings that star power to the team. So let me know what you guys think about this first trade. Bradley Beal was disgruntled on the Washington Wizards as well as I know from reports numerous times. Although he denied it himself, a lot of reports still came out over the years that he was planning to leave the Wizards. So I don't know if that's true, but that was just the reports. So I mean, anyways, if he goes to a better situation with the Nets, it'd be better for both teams because the Nets would probably give away like a Jared Allen or a Spencer Dinwiddie or a Karis LeVert. So that would be pretty nice for the Wizards because they're getting younger, and obviously they can develop their new players in like a Karis LeVert. That would be definitely nice for the Wizards, and maybe a few picks for Bradley Beal. And I think that's definitely nice for both teams. The Nets get their star, and the Wizards get young players or young assets or future assets for another trade or just to develop the players. So number 2 is Victor Oladipo to the Brooklyn Nets. So I think this would be great for both sides. And on the Pacers side of this, the Pacers would get probably a young player in Jared Allen and or Karis LeVert, probably or Karis LeVert, because I wouldn't give up both of them for Victor Oladipo, which has low trade value anyways. So I think a Jared Allen and a few picks would be good enough for the Victor Oladipo trade. So I think that would be great for both sides because for the Pacers, they get picks and young players, and obviously the Brooklyn Nets get their third star in Victor Oladipo. Obviously that's if they can't get Bradley Beal, but I definitely put up Bradley Beal on top of Victor Oladipo on my rankings because Bradley Beal, obviously you guys know he's definitely better than Oladipo, at least at this moment. So I think he's just better offensively and maybe even defensively. So I think the Nets should go for Bradley Beal here. And if they can't, a backup plan would be Oladipo. But now let's hop into the third target. Number 3, Zach LaVine to the Brooklyn Nets. So Zach LaVine would definitely be a nice fit with Kyrie and KD because his ability to be an efficient, spot-on shooter, and obviously he could definitely shoot the ball and play pretty nice defense. So, and obviously he's definitely affordable for the Brooklyn Nets with his $19 million contract, and he's averaged 25 points per game last season and about 4 rebounds per game. So that's definitely not bad. And I'll definitely consider him if I were the Nets. I'd probably put him above Victor Oladipo but below Bradley Beal. So I think I put Bradley Beal still at number 1, Zach LaVine at number 2 in terms of the money and the fit, and then I'd put up Victor Oladipo at number 3 for now. So the reason that it would be good for the Chicago Bulls is that they obviously get some young players, whether it's Karis LeVert, Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, or picks. So that's definitely nice for them because they're definitely a rebuilding team. And Zach LaVine doesn't really fit that, although I know he's young, but I think he's better in a situation of competing for a championship with the Brooklyn Nets. So I think that's definitely a nice fit for both teams, a nice trade. So let me know what you guys think about this trade. And now let's hop on to trade target number 4. So number 4 is obviously Paul George to the Brooklyn Nets. So you guys may have heard the rumors that the Nets are considering trading for Paul George, and I definitely like this trade idea. Paul George feels very disgruntled, at least right now, on the Los Angeles Clippers because he just wasn't doing well in the playoffs. Maybe a new fit for him would be better in his situation. So I think him with KD and Kyrie would definitely be a nice big trio in terms of fit and obviously his contract is not small, it's big. So the Nets will have to make up with that salary by trading most likely Spencer Dinwiddie, as well as some other players like Karis LeVert or Jared Allen, and some picks to make the contract work and the salaries work, obviously, for both teams. And I think this is good for the Brooklyn Nets because they obviously get their third star in Paul George. And Paul George is a great fit because he is great on defense. And I think the Brooklyn Nets need that most right now. And obviously, they're pretty good on defense with Jared Allen. But if they're going to trade those type of pieces, they got to get a player like Paul George in return that could definitely make up for that lost defense and definitely defend really well. So I think Paul George would definitely be number one. Even I'd actually put him number one over Bradley Beal. I put Bradley Beal at number 2. Then I put Zach LaVine at number 3, Victor Oladipo at number 4. In terms of my rankings of these 5 players that the Brooklyn Nets should get. So the reason that this is good for the Los Angeles Clippers is that they get like a Karis LeVert or Jared Allen and Spencer Dinwiddie and a few picks. So obviously stacking up on picks would not be bad. I don't know where they'd go in this situation because I think they definitely need to try to think what they're doing. Are they going to rebuild and trade everyone after their 3-1 loss, or actually blowing their 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets? I mean, Steve Ballmer obviously said that it's possible that they might trade literally everyone. It's open on the trade block, obviously. So I think that will definitely not be out of the options for them. This is going to be a big offseason for them. And yeah, so stacking up on picks and young players might be the way to go for the Los Angeles Clippers. So let's see what they're gonna do. And yeah, so now we're gonna hop into trade target number 5. So at number 5 we have Jrue Holiday on the Brooklyn Nets. So I think this would be a great trade for both sides. As for the Nets side of this, they're getting a great defensive minded and offensive minded shooting guard that could definitely space the floor on offense and play very well defense, as Jrue Holiday does best, obviously. So I think that would be definitely nice for the Nets in terms of fit, and his contract isn't too big for them, obviously. So I think they will like that, obviously, with the salary. But yeah, so I think that the Brooklyn Nets definitely should consider this trade. And now for the New Orleans Pelicans, obviously they're a young team. Jrue Holiday was mentoring them last season with the young players like Zion, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Jackson Hayes. And now it's time for him to go, and they get some young players. Either it's a Jared Allen, a Karis LeVert, but I would not do this personally. I would not trade Karis LeVert for Jrue Holiday. I personally wouldn't do that. Probably not Jared Allen too. If I would do it, I would do Spencer Dinwiddie, but I don't know if the New Orleans Pelicans would really want Dinwiddie back. He's nothing crazy. I mean, he is not too young for them. He's not like a developing player. He basically is already a developed player. So I don't know what they would want in return. Maybe just some picks and Dinwiddie to match up the contracts. I mean, Dinwiddie would be a starting point guard for the team. He'd be like a Jrue Holiday replacement. So I think that would be very interesting for both sides. But yeah, so let me know if you guys did enjoy this video and found this video helpful. It was KYT here, and I'm out. Peace.